drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor early in the morning?
I'm Paul Bennett. Today we're going to play with dollies. Not that kind of dolly. This kind of dolly. This is a two-wheel dolly. It's typically used for, in the shop for moving large sheet goods like plywood or doors or drywall, that sort of thing. You've probably seen many of these all over YouTube and on people's blogs, and everybody makes them. They're pretty simple, but what makes this one so special? What makes it unique? Why is it the ultimate dolly? The reason is most dollies are put together as just a one unit thing. They glue them and they screw them together. It's a dolly, works fine. But this one here doesn't use any glue or screws. I have wing nuts here. I have a number of shims, both inside and outside these guides here. What that allows me to do is I can very quickly and easily disassemble this dolly, and I can move these shims around either inside the guides or outside the guides to vary the width of the guides. So right now it's set up for a 3/4 inch piece of plywood with just a little bit of extra room. And if I want to, I could take some of these outer shims, put them on the inside, widen this here. So if I had a 1 3/4 inch wide exterior door I wanted to move around, or I wanted to put a number of sheets of plywood on at one time, I could easily do that. So I just undo the wing nuts, undo this axle nut, or I could drill this, I could drill a hole, put in a clevis pin to make it faster. Just take a wheel off one side. Once the wing nuts are off, I could slide this apart, adjust the shims, and easily put it back together in just a couple of minutes. Stay tuned. I'm going to show you how I built it, and I'm going to demonstrate how this goes together. As always, a free set of plans are available in a PDF download if you want to build one yourself. And I put them in both imperial and metric sizes. Thanks for watching. I'm trying a bolt it's a 1/2 inch bolt that's 8.5 inches long. I'm using 1/2 inch fender washers. And I'm going to set this up so that I have shims in between the main pieces so I can use 3/4 inch plywood. So all the other shims will fit on the outside. Now if I wanted to do a much wider piece, maybe an exterior door which is 1 3/4 inch, or I had something wider, then I could easily disassemble this, take some of the shims from the outside, add them to the inside, reassemble it. Or I can make it thinner. I can use thinner shims on the inside, take these thicker shims and put them on the outside. I can adapt this to whatever size material I want to move. So I'll start by taking a few shims. I've got a 3/8 shim, a couple of 1/4 inch shims. And I'll add that. And the bolts that keep the shims from spinning, to keep everything in line, are just quarter 20 bolts, and these here happen to be 4.5 inches long. And I have some washers, just regular 1/2 inch flat washers. So now I can put this in. Now I can add my center pieces, and that's what will give me the width, so I can use my 3/4 inch plywood. You can see that. Oh, I forgot to add the wheel first. Take that out. These are 6-inch hard wheels from Harbor Freight. They're only a few bucks a piece. I'll put another fender washer on the inside. Put this back. And that bolt. The other side on. And now it's a matter of adding the rest of these shims. So when you put them back on like this, you'll never lose the shims. You always have them. You don't have to go looking for them in the shop. They stay with the dolly. Okay. And then I'll put on another fender washer. Wheel, one more fender washer, and I think later on I'll probably drill a hole so I can use a clevis pin or something to be fast. Right now I just have some nuts that I'll put on here. You don't want to put this tight so that it binds. You want it to be able to roll, so like that. And this is sticking out quite a bit, almost an inch. If I used an eye-lock nut on here, I could, instead of 8.5 inches, I could use a 7.5 inch bolt. And I have one. I could just change this out. And I'll put that together later. And now, I'll just take these 4.5 inch bolts, quarter 20 bolts on the ends. I'll just take some wing nuts. Snug it up. And now I have a 2-wheel dolly, and when I go to put in a piece of, say this is 3/4 inch ply, if I had a full sheet, I wanted to move around, this will fit in there. And I didn't want to snug it too tight. This way here it goes in and out very easily. There's not much slop, so you can still control the dolly when you're rolling around. And like I said, if I had a wider piece, a thicker piece, a door or something, I can easily just disassemble this, change the shims, reassemble it, and the more you do it, it'll loosen up, it'll get a little easier coming apart and going together. But this makes a versatile dolly. Just the one dolly is fully adjustable, and it's easy to make. You don't have to use any screws, you don't have to do any gluing. You just cut the main pieces, cut a few shims, line up the holes to drill, just a couple of 1/4 inch holes. These here, they may not line up perfectly, so you want to make the holes a little bigger, about maybe 5/16. And your 1/2 inch hole, if you can enlarge that slightly, it just makes it easier to put this together in and out. But that's all there is to that, and that makes a nice dolly. And there'll be free plans available. If you look at the video description below the video, there'll be a link to the download page. And as always, there's no charge for the plans. Thank you for watching.
drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? Girl, I